What's up guys, welcome back. In this video we're going to be making the Feathers server with the brand new Feathers release. So I'm going to be just making it from scratch. It'll be a lot easier this way because it's actually not too complex and it's actually going to be really quick. If you don't have the Feathers CLI, make sure to install it. I believe it's npm install Feathers CLI. And make sure you get the new version or else this won't make sense. So the first thing is you want to make a folder that you want to basically create all this in. So I'll call mine upgraded menu monkey and I'll just cd into it. And then I'll do feathers generate app. And this is basically the, there we go, the start of, and all the defaults are good. This is just the beginning of setting up your application. So now it's a lot different now. With Feathers, you generate it like this, and it gets all the just like the base folders and files that you need for doing Feathers and setting this up. But the first difference you'll see is you actually have to set up authentication separately. So you have to do Feathers generate authentication. And then for this, you can choose what type. We're going to do username and password. You can find and keep the default for users. And then we were using KneeDB for the last one. I'm going to just use MongoDB for this so I can show you guys how to set this up with a real database. So keep that, and this connection string is fine. Let that build out, and you notice how it's actually using yarn, which is pretty cool because usually it uses npm, but they made that switch, so that's pretty nice. So now that'll set up authentication for us. And then the next thing is I want to set up is our service, which is going to be a recipe service. So Feathers generate service, and then we can, again, this is going to be a MongoDB, this is going to be recipes, and it does need authentication. Alright, so we created those, and we can just copy the name of our database right here. If you don't have MongoDB installed, you could just follow along with the KneeDB as well if you wanted to. But if you don't have Mongo installed, make sure you install it before you do, and get the CLI for that. So you can just type Mongo to start the CLI, and then use and the name of your database, and then it'll actually create the database for you. Now we can get out of there. The database is created. Now we can do npm start on our server. So this is pretty sweet. Now I'm going to show you what we have just created. So now with authentication, what we can do is first, of course, we need to, actually no, I won't even do it like that because it'll be really easy. First we need to create a user. So we can make a post request to users. We don't need strategy for users though, so we can get rid of that. So we're going to post an email and password, and this will create a Bob user. So if I send that, we can create a Bob user and get our ID for that. And now we can actually authenticate. And to authenticate, we go to this, make a post request to that URL, and then we add the strategy local and our email and password. And then you'll notice, oops, sorry, this is authentication, not authenticate. And you'll notice it'll give you a access token. So we copy this access token. When they give us an access token, we then, this is what we use to make sure that we're authorized. So for example, if we want to create a recipe now, we can add this to the header. And then down here, oops, that's an old one. Up here, this is what I'd like to create, and I do send. And you'll notice right here, it'll get name, something, ingredients, whatever I just created here. So exactly what I wanted. And now you'll notice there's one thing missing, and that's basically different about it, is we don't have the owner ID. So there is actually a nice little hook that we can use right here. This is the associate current user hook, and this will just add the current user to our when we create a recipe for us. So that's really nice. So to do that, we're going to go to source, services, recipes, and then hooks. So we're just going to paste in the hooks, and then in the before create, we're going to do hooks dot associate current user, and then we're just going to say by, and then owner ID. I believe it was by. Is that right? Oh, it's as associate current user. As, okay. Now when I do npm start, should we just start up okay? And we do. Notice if I create this exact same object again, it now has an owner ID. So now we can find the recipes that you create. And that's it. So our authentication is now all set up and our server is all good. So I'm just going to let this run in the background, and then in the next video we'll continue working on our front end.